Betelgeuse is a really big star. No need to worry, although at 700 light-years away, it is the nearest star to the Sun that will undergo a supernova explosion, engulfing the orbit of Mars and extending through the asteroid belt. One of the night sky's brightest stars, Betelgeuse, is a stunning orange-red color. It is also renowned for its variability, or the capacity for variation in brightness. Betelgeuse has been known to occasionally surpass even the brightest stars in the sky, reaching a magnitude of nearly 0.0. The Betelgeuse is rumored to have exploded, and we are in for a truly horrific experience. But is this the case? Let's examine the current state of this stunning building that represents the Sun. It is crucial to understand that a star's brightness can vary significantly. Consider Rigel and Aldebaran as an example. When these two stars are at their brightest, their luminosities can vary greatly. At its brightest, Aldebaran can rival Rigel in brightness, while at its darkest, it can rival all of the Barans. The size, temperature, and distance of the star from Earth are a few of the causes of this change in brightness. The period in question lasted for a little over 5 years and was characterized by significant challenges and difficulties. Some of the other variants include Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse, and Belgia. It's fascinating how the same celestial object can have multiple names and spellings. The word's origins can be found in the Arabic language. Scholars believe that the used ending is the one that fits the situation the best. We are unable to offer any additional information on the subject, though, as Arabic is outside our area of expertise. A red supergiant star called Betelgeuse can be found in the constellation of Orion, nearly 642.5 light-years from the planet. It is one of the most researched and fascinating stars in the night sky due to its distance from Earth. We now have access to useful data regarding the separation of celestial objects thanks to the Hipparcos astrometric satellite. Its observations have allowed us to estimate the distance to this specific object at about 430 light-years. The immense distances between celestial bodies and the size of our cosmos are made clearer by this information. It qualifies as a variable star because its apparent magnitude fluctuates from 0.0 to 1.6. The second brightest star in Orion, Rigel, is known by the more Bay moniker Alpha Orionis. Due to its unpredictable brightness, Betelgeuse can occasionally be brighter than Rigel. With the appearance of Johann Bayer's Uranometria in 1603, Betelgeuse and Rigel were given the designations Alpha and Beta Orionis, respectively. A standalone star, Betelgeuse is not a member of any other larger astronomical group, since it is not located in a zone where new stars are being formed. It is also classified as a runaway star. The radius of Betelgeuse is around 764 times that of the Sun, and its mass is about 16.5 times that of the Sun. It is a red giant with a brightness of 126,000 suns. Because of this, its brightness as viewed from Earth remains high, despite its distance of 548 light-years. The star is cooler than the Sun, 5778 Kelvin. Despite its massive size, at its surface temperature is only 3600 Kelvin. Betelgeuse is just roughly 10 million years old, while the Sun is 4 billion years old. Despite being somewhat younger, Betelgeuse is a fully formed star. A supernova explosion a few tens of light-years away from Earth would have extremely disastrous effects. A truly enormous explosion can emit light comparable to a whole galaxy. We therefore couldn't ignore it if one of our close neighbors, such as Alpha Centauri, decided to behave in this way. It wouldn't matter if it shone as brightly as the moon, since radiation of every type would still be bathing us in it. We have not seen a supernova in our galaxy since 1604. However, in 1987, a major Magellan cloud eruption occurred with consequences that were visible even from 169,000 light-years away. Supernova remnants, or the remains of stars that have exploded, are G292.0 plus 1.8. There was no risk, although this is a rare kind with a lot of oxygen. The fact that the big cloud is so far away is fortunate. Working with the danger zone surrounding a normal supernova is an intriguing idea. As a selenographer rather than an astrophysicist, I may have estimated the distance inaccurately, but it would be roughly 100 light-years. Betelgeuse would be outside of the range, whereas Alpha Centauri is still within it. It seems safe to say, in any case. Has the Betelgeuse truly exploded? This is still the most pertinent question left unanswered by all of this. Betelgeuse is the red supergiant star that is nearest to the Earth. Betelgeuse will eventually burst, but enthusiasm was sparked when it began to decrease significantly in late 2019. Some believe that the significant event was going to occur because of the odd Betelgeuse dimming. Betelgeuse has not yet erupted, though. Since then, this brilliant star in the constellation of Orion the Hunter has recovered brightness, dimmed, brightened and now seems to be returning to a less active state. However, more dimming could occur at any time. The hunter's right shoulder is easily distinguished since it is marked by the second brightest star in Orion. Betelgeuse radiates a crimson tinge. It is well located for viewing in the first few months of every year in the evening sky. Astronomers have determined, after examining data from NASA's Hubble Space Telescope and several other observatories, that the bright red supergiant star Betelgeuse physically blew its top in 2019. Betelgeuse experienced a major loss of its visible surface and produced a large surface mass ejection. This has never before been seen in a star's behavior. Our Sun frequently experiences coronal mass ejections, in which a piece of the corona, its fragile outer atmosphere, is torn away. However, compared to a typical CME, the Betelgeuse SME discharged 400 billion times more mass. Therefore, it seems that the strange darkening of Betelgeuse was caused by a cloud of hot gas that the star ejected and momentarily obscured some of the star's light. Although some estimates place it farther away, Betelgeuse may be as nearby as 724 light-years from Earth. Determining the distances of red supergiant stars like Betelgeuse is a challenging subject in astronomy. Despite the distance, due to its innate brilliance, Betelgeuse is one of the brightest stars in the sky. It is approximately 100,000 times brighter than the Sun. Such brightness comes at a price, however, since Betelgeuse's enormous energy quickly depletes its fuel, hastening its demise. When the star runs out of fuel, it will eventually collapse under its weight and then erupt in a stunning supernova explosion. Then, for a few weeks or months, Betelgeuse will grow extraordinarily bright, maybe matching the brightness of the full moon, and become visible throughout the day. Why Betelgeuse became dimmer in 2019? The Betelgeuse star experienced alterations in late 2019, becoming notably dimmer. Its apparent magnitude went from 0.5 to 1.7. Early in 2020, the red supergiant began to restore its brightness, putting an end to this decline. Some individuals believe that the star might be set to erupt as a result of this unexplained occurrence. The VLT was utilized by astronomer Miguel Montage and his team to determine why this occurred with Betelgeuse. They assert that there are two possible explanations for this. The first is that the large convective cells of the star produced hot and cold regions on its surface. Another factor contributing to the massive darkening episode was a dust cloud that, from our vantage point, blocked the starlight. Betelgeuse also produced this cloud. Betelgeuse's eruption date is still a mystery. On the other hand, because it is quite close to Earth in terms of stellar distance, the supernova explosion would be visible from Earth even during the day. Fortunately, this tremendous explosion of materials won't affect us because the planet is more than 500 light-years away. According to astronomers, a supernova would need to be roughly 50 light-years away from Earth to have any effect on it. Similar to Betelgeuse, the red hypergiant VY Canis Majoris showed good dimming episodes in 2021. What's behind this? The fading of Betelgeuse, according to NASA's Hubble Space Telescope, was comparable, but on a much bigger scale. What time will it most likely go off? Although it won't happen in our lifetimes, no one really knows when it will blow up. It may happen right now or in a million years. Betelgeuse has severely darkened over the past several months, even though it is nearing the end of its life cycle and could explode at any time in the next 100,000 years. Betelgeuse pulses attract a lot of attention. It has done this previously. Its decline is therefore not surprising, but this particular fading has turned out to be special. With a magnitude of 0.69 and a rating of 11th among the brightest stars, Betelgeuse is one of the sky's brightest stars. However, according to the most recent assessments, it has shrunk to a magnitude of 1.7, displacing it from the top 21. As a result, Betelgeuse has become abnormally dark. The bizarre fading of Betelgeuse has been highlighted in the media, and several ideas suggest it could be a sign that the star is about to go supernova. The majority of expert astronomers and astrophysicists, however, do not subscribe to this hypothesis and believe that the star will soon regain its previous brilliance, since the current dimming is due to other factors, such as an explosion of gas or dust or changes in the star's surface brightness. Betelgeuse is therefore expected to eventually dissolve, even though not anytime soon, the scientific community agrees. Let's imagine if Betelgeuse eventually popped. What would happen? What would we experience and see from Earth? The three brightest supernovae ever observed in our skies first appeared in the years 1006, 1054, and 1572. These stars were all thousands of light-years away, even though they were all either as dazzling as Venus at its brightest or on par with it. But Betelgeuse is only 640 light-years away. In other words, if the star suddenly burst into flames, it would become exceedingly bright, possibly approaching the brightness of the full moon, and cast clear shadows. Despite the daytime sky's brightness, it would be clear to see. In the following years, where we once saw Betelgeuse, we might only see a diffuse patch of faint light that would be the intensely hot, newly revealed core of the star, surrounded by an expanding cloud of gaseous debris. It would initially appear at this dazzling brightness for 2 or 3 months, then over the following 2 or 3 years. It would gradually fade from view. If there were no other repercussions on our planet, that would be the extent of the explosion overall. Betelgeuse is fortunate to be where it is regarding us, and not closer than something like Capella, an extremely bright yellowish star that crosses high overhead in the middle of the evening. There are barely 43 light-years between us. Arabic is the language that gave origin to the naming of many notable stars in pop culture, history, and Betelgeuse mythology. This fact serves as evidence of the superior status enjoyed by Arabic astronomers and astrologers during the Dark Ages in Europe. The Arabic phrase that inspired the name Betelgeuse is often translated into English as the giant's armpit. The word Betelgeuse comes from this statement. Some scholars believe that Betelgeuse is meant to be seen as a hand or even a shoulder at times. This is in contrast to the common interpretation that the giant relates to Orion. Betelgeuse is the name of the star that appears on the right shoulder of Orion on many older star maps. The meaning of the name is not understood. It is not unexpected that the majority of portrayals of Betelgeuse have an anatomical relationship because Orion is most commonly associated with the giant. A warrior, a hunter, a god, or some other anthropomorphic or animal figure in the ancient stories. Even though it was most likely the leg of a stag, the Sanskrit term for this structure also refers to it as an arm, for instance. In some regions of Brazil, the constellation Betelgeuse was seen as the front leg of a turtle or the back leg of a caiman, a species of crocodile. Betelgeuse, on the other hand, was thought to be an integral component of the circumference of the rim of a ceremonial drum in ancient Japan. An amputated limb of an American man figure is symbolized by Betelgeuse. The Talipang people of Brazil identify with this constellation as Zilil Kauai, a hero whose wife amputated his leg. Betelgeuse's variable brightness is thought to represent this amputation. North American Lakota people witnessed it, as a chief with a severed arm, analogously. Sanskrit terminology refers to Betelgeuse as the moist one, which is also the name of the Ardra lunar house in Hindu astrology. Thank you for watching this. For more content, like and share our channel for more information.